Hi guys, welcome back to Practically Creative with Melissa. If you're new here, welcome. We're going to do a tote bag today, and I'm going to do it with something a little bit different. Let me show you what I've got here. This is a couple of blocks that I started putting together about a month ago, I guess, and I have serged these together. Unfortunately, I'm out of that blue fabric that I used for the stripe. So I had to stop and think about what I wanted to use this for. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this into a tote bag. I'm going to use two of the panels, not three, and I'll probably end up using the chicken and the flower down here on the end. So I'm going to take you over here to the sewing table and show you exactly what I'm going to do to this. So let's move over there and see what happens. So here we are at the sewing table, and this is what I've got. I have got a flower, it's a Dresden that I made, and a chicken and an applique flower. I want to measure how big these blocks are. I've got, maybe I'll use the two flowers and leave the chicken out. Because what I want to do is I want to go from that edge of the binding all the way out here. So it's a little more than 12 inches. See what I've got at the other end. Roughly the same. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut the chicken out of the middle. The chicken won't go to waste. I'll use him on something else. One. I'm trying to get as much of that binding edge as I can, or that sashing, pardon me. So that I can have the maximum size of block. Okay, so now we're going to square these two so they're a similar size. It may not be exact, but what I'm doing is I'm matching up my corners of my two blocks. They should be the same size anyway. And then I'm just going to trim down this side here. Close. Okay. So now I need, they're about 13 inches by 12 inches. So I'm going to cut a piece of lining, actually two pieces of lining for this. Okay, so I'm going in about 2.5 inches, making sure that my strap isn't twisted, because that will be irritating if it is. And I'm going to put my strap on both sides. And then I'm going to base the strap on inside what is the seam allowance, so at about 1/4 of an inch in. Just going to take it over here and do a straight stitch back and forth. And then we'll do the other side the same way. Okay, so we've got our straps basted on there. We're going to leave our bag right side out. And we're going to put it inside the lining bag. And we're also going to keep the handles inside the lining bag. So bring your side seams up so they match one another. And I'm just going to use a plastic clip to do this. And I'm going to nest those two seams. And I'm putting the flat part of my clip to the outside because that's what's going to ride along my sewing machine bed while I sew this. The other seam is here. I'm going to nest them together just like you would if you were putting together two blocks while you were quilting. And then once I have all of that put together, then I'm going to bring up the sides. I've still got my handles down inside the bag. And I'm going to put a clip on either side to make sure that things stay where I want them. I may have to put clips on the handles because since the handles are made out of that webbing, they're a bit heavier than the rest of the bag. And now we're going to sew. I'm using a 1/2 inch or a wider seam allowance than I did before. So I want to make sure that the seam that I have along the handles does not show on the outside of the bag. Might be easier if you drop the arm on your sewing machine. And now that you've sewn all the way around the top, you're going to reach in this side and you're going to pull everything out. I like to reach in with my fingers and make sure that all of my corners have turned out all the way. And if you like to trim corners, you can, but we're going to square or box these corners. So I need them to be pushed out all the way, but I don't necessarily need the corners to be trimmed off. You're going to take the little side opening that you left, pull it taut, and sew it down. You can iron this too so that it'll stay better. To box your corners, you're going to pull your little corner out. Make sure your seams are running right along each other. And then it's your preference how wide you want to sew this. I'm going to do mine probably about 1.5 inches in, since this is a smaller tote bag. And it will affect the size of your tote bag depending on how big you do this. And while I've got this one pulled up, I'm going to go ahead and look at this one. Do the same thing. And I'm just going to use my other measurement to tell me where to sew on this one. Okay, and the final step is I am going to sew around the top edge of my bag. Basically just a top stitch. And there is our newest cute little tote bag. I'm making tote bags because my grocery store has now gone to reusable bags. But you could use a tote bag for anything you wanted, from library books to groceries to carrying things on trips to grandma's house. All right, guys, thank you for watching. You have a great day.